Hello world, I'm Lake Gourmet Dumont, and today we're going to make the ultimate mac and cheese. Just a heads up for all the people that are inevitably going to point this out, but I'm not using actual macaroni. Instead, I'm using Cellentani. I like it because it's essentially elongated macaroni with grooves on the outside. This will help keep the sauce within and clinging onto the pasta better than a traditional macaroni. Okay, so ingredients. I start off with a tablespoon of mustard powder, tablespoon of sweet paprika, and a teaspoon of cayenne powder. This all will add complexity to the flavor, along with the use of half an ounce of lemon juice to add an acidity. Be sure to use panko breadcrumbs. They'll have a nice crunch to them and are generally more satisfying than regular breadcrumbs. You'll also need salt to taste and some all-purpose flour for the roux, and milk for the sauce. Start by boiling the water. Add in enough salt so that it tastes like the ocean, and top it off with some olive oil to make sure the pasta won't stick together after straining. You'll want enough water to cover the pasta an inch or two above it. Essentially, you'll need to save some of this pasta water before straining. This reserve contains starches to help thicken and season the final sauce. Strain the pasta out and let's begin with the cheese sauce. You will need a lot of butter. This is called the ultimate mac and cheese after all. Not the healthiest mac and cheese. My cheeses are a young Manchego, a garlic and herb cheddar, Parmigiano-Reggiano, aged 24 months, and some Camembert. The goal is for flavorful and melty cheeses to be used to keep a nice smooth consistency with good flavor. A lot of people make cheese sauce separate and pour it over the pasta, but I like using one pan to help incorporate the sauce more evenly throughout the mix. Also, I keep the heat low when incorporating the pasta to imbue it with cheesy goodness. Start by taking a tablespoon of butter over low heat and start adding in the flour after the butter is melted. You'll want to do this slowly to avoid adding in too much flour. The roux should be ready when it acts and feels like wet sand. You'll want to start slowly adding in a quarter of a cup of milk and scraping the sides to get all the roux mixed in. Time to add in more milk. It should come out to around a full cup before you turn the heat up. Speaking of, turn the heat up to medium-high, and constantly stir the sauce as it begins to thicken. The telltale sign is taking a spoon, coating it with the sauce, and running your finger down the back end. If the line stays, it's thick enough. This is called nappe. Turn the heat down to low and begin incorporating the cheeses slowly. Throw in the spice mix while you're at it. The goal is to make sure that the cheese is melted properly. That's why we do it on a cheese-to-cheese basis. If the sauce is looking too thick, always feel free to add in more milk. Don't forget to taste test and then add in salt. The parm has a lot of salinity to it, so we don't want to overseason the end product. Finally, with the cheese sauce made, time to dump in the pasta. Keep the heat on low and start folding in the pasta. Just having it coated is perfect. Turn the heat off and spread it out on an evenish layer to prep for the breadcrumbs. Be prepared to use a lot of breadcrumbs for this. Again, this ain't no healthy meal in the slightest. Once you have good coverage over the top, get about a tablespoon of melted butter, the reserved pasta water, and the lemon juice. Mix them all together and evenly pour them over the pasta concoction. Now we're ready to bake. In a preheated oven of 375 degrees Fahrenheit, place in the pasta dish uncovered for 20 to 30 minutes. You can tell when it's done when the sides are bubbling and the breadcrumbs are starting to brown. And there you have it, the ultimate mac and cheese. Subscribe to my channel for more recipes. Also, leave a message down below on how your mac and cheese turned out, and any suggestions on what kind of recipes you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching, and bon appetit!